Propaganda, how you doing, man?
What's up?
Man, this happens to me often where I feel like I know the person all because I read your book, man. So it's kind of like forgive me, man. I'm like we're old friends. Hey, man, how you doing here?
That means I wrote a good book. Then, if you already feel like you know me, all right, we good there.
I have to be very careful of that when I'm interviewing people because you read the book, man, and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, this is incredible, cool. How you talk about culture, how you talk about stories, that we write our own stories. It's deep, man. It's kind of one of those things where it's not just like you're reading a book. Like you really feel like you're in on this journey. And then you make us do homework, man.
I do.
It's
I do have
yeah.
homework.
And I'm like, but
It's
see,
optional though.
you know, and so at first, man, I'm like, skip that, stuff.
Yeah. Of course.
Like, okay, I gotta write a poem. Like, really? To my neighbor?
Yeah.
So I gotta start
Mhm.
asking you this question. And normally I ask this question last out of people who I'm interviewing. But
Okay.
you may be the person I've asked this question first. I'll think about it. When you hit send on this, when you were
Yeah.
set, done, ready to go, what did you think?
Oh, wow, that's a good question. It
Huh,
was it was surreal. It was pretty like, okay,
we're ready.
done. Right? Like we're done, right? Like I went o- I was just like I went over 4 times, double checked. This is all I had to say. This is all I had to say, right? Wait,
Wow.
so it's done. It was one of those things. It was like, I guess it's like when you turn 18 or you turn
Yeah.
30 or 40, you're just like, this is a milestone, you're building to it. Then you wake up that morning and you're like, huh, so we're here,
Wow.
right? We're here. And then the slowly, over the next couple days and weeks where I was just like, oh my good
Like it's
Lord, I wrote
done.
a
Like
book.
it's out the door.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, I wrote a book. Here's the thing, yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
another question. I got to ask you this question, man. I felt like I did not know you going into this book. Like I knew that you have like these favorite like coffee places all around the country.
Yeah.
Really quite
Uh-huh.
interesting, by the way. Um,
Thank you.
but I didn't feel like I knew you like going into it outside of what you do poetry wise and spoken word. Man.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
After reading the book, though, I felt like I knew you. Though, why
That's
is
dope.
that?
Man, I think there's something about the written word and the long form. Poetry is like, it's deeply thought out, very curated 3-minute shooters, you know what I'm saying? That I know for me weren't necessarily, they were much more observational than they were personal, so I was usually tackling a topic with
Yeah.
poetry. With the book, it's like at least with the way that I tried to write this, like I'm really cutting myself open here and being like, no, let's talk about it. Let's do the long form. You know what I mean? It's like I guess the equivalent of like reading an abstract versus like reading the book. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
So the poetry oftentimes is the abstract. You know what I mean? And
Oh.
this is the full long form. So I think maybe that was it.
It's great long form. I will tell you though, on page 5, you like come in strong, like you hit pretty hard. You go, we make culture, culture makes us,
Mhm.
rinse and
And
repeat.
repeat. Yep.
Um, you say it a lot better, by the way.
No,
Man, man, I was stuck with this one, and I was
yeah.
only on page like 5 here, where I'm
Yeah.
going, okay, like got it, sort of.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I am part of making culture. And I think a lot of people who are believers, I'm gonna be transparent here, forget that they do make culture,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. I think we're sitting in the shadow of like the Chuck Colsons of the world, the culture warriors, that
Yeah,
just this idea that we're at war with this evil thing
yeah,
that, the devil is in charge of. You know what I'm saying? They
yeah,
almost like sub the word culture with the word the world. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
how the scripture talks about that as something separate from us, and we're in it, not of it, and just those motifs that like just kind of like give you a misconception of to like, well, this is how culture works. Like
It is probably, it's funny you say that, man. I was talking to a friend of mine this morning. I just got done interviewing Lance Bass from NSYNC.
yeah.
And he said to me, he goes, "Well, did you change, Mina?" And it was almost if having the conversation with him
Mhm. Yeah.
would have made me change. Probably.
Yeah.
And I'm going, no, we just had a conversation. I wrote up the conversation, man, pretty standard here. And I thought, man, we are still in this cultural war still
Yeah.
that the rest of the world is going, we're not in, by the way.
Yeah. We're not, this is one-sided, bro. Like,
It's so one-sided, dude.
what are you talking about?
The
Yeah.
rest of the world's going, have fun. What the heck?
Yeah.
They're not even in.
Y'all still talking about this? You ever been at a party and somebody was arguing over some top 5 something?
Yes.
You go back, get a drink, get a plate of food, go talk to somebody else, and you come back and like, y'all still talking about this?
Right. They're not even like, it's a good way to say it. They're not even paying attention to this.
Yeah, like how y'all still talking about this? Yeah.
It's just funny. So when I read this, I thought, I really did go, like, how am I creating culture, man, just personally speaking, because we are in this world, not of it, but we are in it, and we're called to be in it at the same time. So I just think with this book, man, you went some places where you sometimes have to go, oh, that hurt.
Oh, for sure.
Like, how did you have that boldness to go, this may hurt, it may tick off some people, and I want to write anyway.
Yeah. I think that the hurt happened to me first. I think that like
Wow.
I had to ask myself the most difficult questions, and look myself in the mirror, have my own sort of crisis. So I think that like having that personal crisis within yourself first, and then coming out the other end and being like, okay, I am better for this, makes you be able to broach the conversation in literature, especially because I'm not, I try to write with a tone that's not telling you what to do. Right. I'm trying to say, this is what I observed and this is what happened to me, and I'll invite you in, you know what I'm saying? But I don't have the answers for you. So I think that like when you write with that tone, you can approach like very hard things because I'm just talking about what happened. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to tell you to do this. I'm just saying I am better because I did.
Yeah, I did not feel like in this book that I was being preached to or even teach to. I really felt like we were in on a journey together on this one. And I felt that's what made it so hard sometimes, because you want to get mad at somebody. And typically,
for sure.
I mean, it's writing the book, but
sure.
I really felt like, man, we're kind of in this tug of war together here a little bit.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I asked this question, man, how much did going to Israel influence this book, man?
Oh my gosh. The 2 biggest influences on this book was the Israel trip and the Ethiopia trip. I think, so going to Israel, and more specifically Palestine, I think, really pushed it over the edge in the sense that it just knocked out a lot of categories. And it was like just this reality of, God, dog, like this, we have layered these rules and ways of doing life, politics, all of it onto this space where these actual people are suffering from these bad ideas, that we're stuck in, with and are like just, it's like you're toggling with something, and then you're in all these conversations, and just like anywhere else, everybody's got the perspective, everybody's got their agenda. I don't say agenda as like a bad thing. It's like,
Oh,
no, like I'm fighting for my survival. I think that this is the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't say it for any blame for anybody, but it's true. They have their agenda, and then we with our American minds going, well, have you tried this? Well, have you tried this? And then you get back on the bus and you like, there's no good ideas.
right.
Like we just this, what I'm saying? Like, we're so far down the road that from my mind, I was like,
It's messy, man.
You just start over, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Propaganda. It's messy. I was actually detained in Israel for 4 hours.
Yeah. Wow.
And so some people ask me what I thought about it. And I always go, man, I wish I would have gone there first before reading the Bible. Because it puts everything into perspective.
You start having these, like, you question your own romantic, like, attitudes towards something, and forget that, like, this is a nation on the planet like every other nation.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And I know the Bible tells us you special, but where I'm standing is you ain't special.
Right.
Like, you just this just a nation. You know what I'm saying? So when you there, you just like, oh my gosh, like, and you thinking like, and if you were like, you just drew an imaginary line on the ground and said that they not special. And I'm like,
close by, like not special.
And I'm like, this line is made up. This ain't a real line.
Literally,
like,
you crossed the line.
Yes, you drew a line and then crossed it. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like, so that sort of like, it just questions everything else. It's like, well, what the hell is the Texas border? Like, it's just made up. Like, y'all, we made all this stuff up. So you just start like really just thinking other things through and going back and being like, dog, it just don't have to be like this, man. It
doesn't, man. What did you learn about yourself in this book? Because you call yourself a OS1 millennial.
Yeah.
Of course, the generation Xers like myself, we go, what the hell is going on here? As we look down, you millennials from on high.
Yes, because the thing is, like, it's because my sister's a generation X. Like, we have so many years. We're like, we're about 6 or 7 years apart. So even in yes. So even in my own house, there are times that I'm like, man, we're just alike. And then there are other times that I'm like, oh yeah, nah, we're
not alike.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we're not alike. You know what I mean? And then, so then I think of like, people that are, it's the same thing where I'm like, I feel much more akin to this person 5 years younger than me. Like, we feel more the same, you know what I'm saying? But I know that like, there are experiences that I have that they don't, So like, it's like, I can get home without Google Maps. Like, I know I can get home without it. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to learn the freeways, whereas like this kid just 2-3 years younger than me never had to learn the freeways. You know what I'm saying? So, so all that to say, there was definitely like, I think at the end of it, what I learned about myself was like the real need for therapy, and that my health as an individual, as a person, is directly tied to the health of the culture. And it's true for everyone else. Like, her name is Carol Hashish or Hanish, Carol Hanish, that she says this phrase. I got it from my wife, that the personal is political, and that like culture can only be as healed as we are. You know what I mean? So it's her phrase. So it's like, it's that, you know what I mean? It's that reality that like, man, if the personal is political, if I want to see this change, like I really do need to see the health of my own sort of well-beings, my own relationships, my own communities, you know what I'm saying? To see that through and to see that be better is like the key to seeing the rest of the world be better.
You talk about that we're writing our own stories. We're writing our stories for people and our neighbors. You talk about this in the book. What type of story are you writing?
Man, I hope I'm writing a good one.
I think you are, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. It's almost like it depends on who you ask. You ask You ask my 15-year-old, she's like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But
no, man, I got one.
yeah, yes. So we, a matter of fact, that's actually, it's a good thing you asked that. Like, you know, my 15-year-old was talking about like, man, I don't know if I want to have kids. You know, I know we moved a lot, but I want to be a translator. Like, I want to move to Japan, just all these different things.
Yes.
And she was like, she has often mourned the fact that because when she was younger, we moved a lot as a family because of our careers. I traveled all the time, you know what I'm saying? Because I was a touring artist. Sometimes I took her, sometimes I didn't. But my hope for her during that time was to be like, I want you to be able to drop into any environment and make friends and make it home. You know, I want you to have a global perspective that the world is so much bigger than where you live now, you know? And for a while, like I said, she mourned the idea that she was like, damn, I didn't really get to make like a lot of deep friendships and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I was able to reflect back to her and be like, but look, you want to move to Japan. Like, you're ready to go see the world. At 15, you're already like, oh, I don't have to work at this office. I can go do a million things. And I'm like, and that's what my hope for you. And she was able to go, oh my gosh, like, yeah.
Actually, we didn't have that, man. Let's just be honest.
We didn't. No, we didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So she was like, wow, I actually never thought of that. Like, so I'm hoping that like what I wanted to imprint on her was this global perspective. And I know it's a trade-off that like, yeah, you're right. You don't have, she has one friend. Actually, him and his mom are here this weekend that she's had since preschool, you know, and we make sure that they stay every summer. They spend some time together. That's her one consistent friend, you know, but he lives in Oakland, you know what I mean? So like she, but she's right. She's like, yeah, like I've never really had that except for him, that like long lasting relationships because we move so much. And I'm like, and you'd be okay to pack up and go to Korea. You'd be fine. And she's
that's
like,
the culture that
you're
they're
right.
gonna have anyway. Let's just be fair.
Yes.
I mean, it's not gonna be like ours when we go to an office 9 to 5. And,
yeah, totally.
You know, and I don't know
Yeah.
well that anyway, long term.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I would not live off that long term. Man, a couple more questions here I gotta ask you, man. What did you learn about you in this? Like, when you were typing this all out and you're writing it all out, where did you go, oh man, I didn't know that?
Yeah. I think that I learned that how do I say this? You know, you get married, you're trying to establish your life, your career, you know, trying to figure out how to be a father. And I did a lot of like sort of separation from my, you know, birth family, my family of origin, just to like focus on what it took to be a good dad, you know? And I think that like for a season I needed it. I definitely needed to like have that separation, you know what I'm saying? So I can like figure out what it takes to like really do this thing well. I think in writing this book, I saw that like, hey, you actually, because I had to do so much reflection that I was like, man, I think I miss my family. I think I miss my sister. I miss my dad. I miss my mom. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, I wonder, maybe I went too far, man. I should start like really, like I said, like for my own self, like start over, terraforming my own family and being like, man, I should put more effort in establishing this extended network of relationship. And I think some of that is like, you know, I'm really cutting myself open here, but like my grandmother had multiple siblings, but I think years before any of us were born, she may have had a falling out with some of her siblings. Yeah. So her siblings and their kids and their grandkids are very close. They all got together. I just don't know them very well because my grandma didn't want to kick it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So like, but I never knew why, you know what I mean?
It is so weird to me how generational issues can affect generations on down.
I didn't know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
We didn't know the story, man.
And she would like, my grandma, I didn't know this because I adore her. Like I spent my first 5 years being raised by her. My grandma walks on water in my mind. She does no wrong to me. You know what I'm saying? But I realized like, I think she may have held a good 40-year, 50-year grudge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, and I can see that potential in some of my like my immediate, like my father and his siblings, you know what I'm saying? Like their ability to be like, I'm done with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And really have no interest in,
And they're okay with it. They're okay with
it. You know what I'm saying? And I came to the conclusion at the end of this book that like, I'm not okay with that.
Wow.
Like, I want this relationship. And I'm like, and if I'm wrong, you feel me? And that's another thing that this book taught me is like, I'm gonna lean into what I'm wrong about. Like, let me lean in. Where did I go wrong? You feel me? Like, how can I rebuild this relationship in as much as I can? Because if I want to see this world healed, how I'm not gonna try to seek healing with my own family, my own blood. You feel me? So I'm like, I think I learned at the end of this about myself that like my heart was softer than I thought it was. My desires were more I'm much more emotional than I knew I was emotional because I'm an artist, but I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But like, nah, I actually feel very deeply, you know? And that like, yo, I'm not this, you know, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. Like my views, my theology, my, you know, my political, like all of it, it's like, dog, you've evolved. You know what I'm saying? You're not where you were, you
Yeah,
know?
but propaganda, it feels like to me in the book, dude, that you are walking us through that. And so for
Mhm.
someone, and maybe it's just me on this one, I used to be Southern Baptist,
Yeah.
left them a year ago.
Yeah.
Uh,
Deuces.
which was a good leaving, honestly.
Yeah. Deuces.
It
Yeah.
actually worked out well for me.
Got out right on time, buddy.
Got right time. As my wife said, that bus was leaving and it was the last one.
Bruh, let me tell you, that's the last one for this cliff. I don't know if you know it's a cliff down
And
there.
we got on it, she said.
Yeah.
She goes,
Yeah.
and so we were going through that political stuff we were going through. I mean, it was just a hard year in our
Hmm.
household in the sense of just transforming, man.
Yeah.
And so even the views that I was going through has just totally changed, man.
Yeah.
And so I'm reading your book and I'm going, how did he handle the naysayers, the negative folks? Because part of your work, you know, and
Hmm.
mine too, I guess, is that we have to appease some of these people. I mean,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah. Yeah. Appease is a tough one, you
yeah,
know.
it's
Um,
very tough.
yeah. I think it was a journey of like separating my work from my person, you know what I'm saying? And
Wow.
understanding that like my work comes out of me,
Mm,
but it's not me. Right. And just reminding myself that like these masses don't know me.
yeah.
Like you don't know me. You know what I'm saying? And then there's right. And then there's the reality, like you said, when you went to Israel, it's like there are things you just can't unsee. Like I can't unsee this. I can't unlearn this. Once you've experienced, like, man, for me, it's like you sit in a tea house in Morocco, you know what I'm saying, with
Mm,
these like, you know, North African Muslim families, and you're like, I don't know what to tell you, man. The Holy Spirit's here.
wow.
I just don't know what to. I look. I know what your book says because I read the same book you did.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
This is the most loving communal moment.
No,
This
man.
is the most God honoring time I've had in a long time. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have an answer for you. You know what I'm saying? So when you experience those things,
Yeah.
you're just like, I can't go, I can't go back and just sing this Hillsong song
Unexperienced,
and just,
no, man. No.
yeah, and just act like I didn't just
Yeah.
walk
Yeah.
in, you know what I'm saying? Like you just can't. So for me, it was that. And it was like, and I know these people have not had that experience, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, it's that living epistle thing to where you're just like, I just experienced the living epistle and
Wow. Wow.
I
Wow.
just don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that authenticity and that like hope that like hopefully someone else at some point may have a chance to experience this, but being okay with the fact that like the people that actually know me hold me accountable. The people that know my middle name, that can call my phone, that know my mama and them, you know what I'm saying? They could pick up the phone and cuss me out. You know what I'm saying? And let me know what you know, what's what and what's who and what's really good and blah, blah, whoop-de-whoop. You know, we can have them conversations. You feel me? And I got to answer to them. But the mass, y'all don't know me.
That is such a,
y'all don't know me.
And I think we forget that in this industry. And I mean that in a good way. I don't mean it in a good way. Take that back. I do not mean that in a good way. I think in this industry, we are so trying to appease the masses. And while at the same time, people who really do know us, by the way, they're going, well, who the hell are you? Like, where are you at? Like, where's that?
Why you worried about this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these people don't know you, you know, and oftentimes, like, you know, and when you I feel like the more mature you get, you know, I hope this doesn't sound like minimizing, but I think that like you start seeing in people's fights their trauma, right? They're sort of like, you're protecting an idea, you're protecting something, because if this idea is challenged, then it unravels an identity. And that unraveling is scary because I've had mine unraveled. You know what I'm saying? And so I know, oh, you're just scared. Like I'm poking at something and it's scary. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fitting. I'm supposed to fit into this system.
Into your narrative.
Yeah, I'm supposed to, and I don't. And it's like not you too, prop. No. It's supposed to be this. And I'm like, you're protecting an idea. You feel me? And I understand.
And in this industry, they like that idea. Probably that fits, man. Well, dude, I gotta tell you, I did have like this exclusive, the whitest email you've ever gotten, man. I feel like out of all the things you left out this book, man, I'm thinking you could have included that one.
Nah, man, you gotta come back for the next one.
Or you could have said, for people of color only, the bottom.
Yeah. This is for black people. Black people only. I'm gonna tell you the whitest email I ever got.
Well, man, I gotta tell you, I like how it is not underneath the Christian label of Harvard College.
Which is great. Yeah.
I thought so, man.
Yeah.
But way to go. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
It's a good read. You don't need me saying that, but I told
so much.
BJ Thompson a couple days ago, I said, man, it's not what I thought it would be.
Man.
And that's so that's a good thing, man. I thought you did good work. And thank you for being a forerunner.
Man.
And saying to hell with the masses. It's so freeing, man.
Yeah,
I would tell anyone to do that.
Yeah, it's better on the other side, guys. I promise you.
It really is. I got on that bus just in time. I got it. Well, man, I wish you well on this journey.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Good, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon, man.
Hey, you too, man.
All right, take care.
All right, brother.
Bye.